Hello, I'm Cadarev, as just introduced. I will be running Tomb Raider 2, which is obviously the second Tomb Raider, one of the classics. I'm not specifically a classic runner, so I don't expect it to go particularly well. But luckily I'm not alone. I have my good friend Kayumon with me.
Hello, everyone.
Not sure how extensive your background is with this game, but we'll figure it out as well, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see. It's been quite a while, but I'll do my best.
Which one of these buttons starts the timer? Green, blue? Either is fine. Perfect. Okay, then we'll start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Woo!
Yes.
Good luck.
So we found out during setup that the game lags for some unknown reason at the start of each load, so that's good. Anyways, so yeah, in this game, when you go into collision, you usually pop out on top, and that is very good in most cases. This game doesn't have exactly a lot of movement options, so usually we have some pretty specific sequences we do. In general, you want to try and have as many jumps in your sequences as possible, because jumping is generally the fastest way of movement. And you want to avoid specific animations like this one, where Lara slowly climbs up. But in this case, there's no other way to get up here, so sometimes you just have to take it. But yeah, basically, a quite big chunk of optimizing this game is knowing how to skip certain animations. I hope I make it into the water good. Yeah. Here you can see Lara light a flare. It's like it just popped up into her hand. This is the game that introduced flares. But this flare actually didn't subtract a flare from our flare counter. We start out with 2 flares. We still have 2 flares now in inventory. So when you okay. This bird can sometimes prevent you from reaching for that ledge. So if we activate a flare while Lara is underwater and picking something up, it doesn't subtract anything from your flare counter. So this is basically a free flare we get. And flares are another important part of the movement, or the movement in general in this game when it comes to speedruns. Because if Lara discards or throws away a flare, that animation overrides, for example, stumbling animations. So from that height, Lara usually would have stumbled, but since she was also throwing away a flare, that took priority, and we avoided being stumbled there for 2 seconds or whatever it costs. Here we pick up a medkit, so actually you will see me usually stop for quite a few. Ooh, okay,
wow.
Interesting.
That was
not what
cool.
I was wanted to go for. What I want to say is usually you will see me go for quite a few extra medkits, even though I don't really need them for where I'm at right now. But for one of the last levels, I actually want to stock up on quite a few medkits to just basically heal through a lot of damage back then or in the future. What you can also see quite often is me running around with my guns out. So the reason for that is kind of twofold. On one hand, it allows you to turn faster when you're standing still, but arguably more importantly, it prevents certain cutscene or rather camera triggers from activating. So the camera is always behind Lara. But if I had not had the pistols out there, for example, I would have gotten an inverted camera that shows Lara from the front, and obviously that's not very helpful. In case you couldn't notice, this game uses tank controls, as all the classics do, so no mouse is involved, and you can't really turn the camera. Camera is always centered behind Lara. I also see my health is blinking. That is not very good, but certainly these tigers will be very kind to me and be AFK as they usually are. Doesn't look too bad. Okay. Yeah, and in any percent, when you go straight down there, it's not that bad usually. But in other categories where you also have to go into the valley to pick up some secrets, they can really be aggro and completely maul you. But yeah, now we're in Venice, and here you see another weird thing with the collisionist game. So, as I said earlier, if you go into collision, it usually pops you out on top. In this case, we fall down onto this small balcony here and can use that to reach this window earlier. What was also introduced here is this amazing effect of being able to shoot windows and create new passageways that way. Also, I don't like there we go, much better. Shout out to Sphere. He is also a fellow nearest neighbor filtering appreciator. So in this game, there's a hotkey to swap between different display method. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, I meant to jump across there, but that's okay. I can get up there the same way I got up there earlier. Just use this corner again. Not sure how much of the keystrokes you hear, but I hear them quite quite well. It's quite interesting. So yeah, that's where I intended to go. And yeah, so as I also said earlier, drawing the guns prevents certain cutscenes from triggering. So by pulling that lever, usually the game would show you, okay, now another door opened, but since I had the guns already out, I was not interrupted in that way and could immediately continue while seeing where I was going. And yeah, we're just making our way to the end of the Venice level. And at the end of the Venice level, there is like this huge gate. And in front of that gate, while it's still blocked, there are a lot of mines, underwater mines. And I think, it's been a while since I played this casually, but I think you're supposed to use a boat and like drive it into the mines, obviously jumping off earlier, and then all the mines explode. And then you can get through there, but we will ignore the boat. We will... Because if you just swim through there, the mines don't detonate. Which obviously is not, like, that's great, but we are still in front of a locked gate. So we have to find a different way to get through there. But luckily there is. And it involves another flare. This time not just for cancelling an animation. But what I will also have to do is actually save and load for reasons. So this is a pretty weird glitch. So you can see Lara is kind of tilted underwater now. And for reasons I don't know, if you save and load and then discard your flare and enjoy the lag, Lara should eventually go through this gate, and that's how we get out of Venice. And we're now in a boat, because we were supposed to exit the previous level with the boat, and now we exit the boat and we will never be inside a boat again. So in this run you're in a boat for like 3 seconds. Another pretty popular thing or pretty useful thing to do in this run is this so-called step-up bug, where we will now slowly walk into the collision and pop up onto this small balcony. And on we go. So there are a few traps here. We can kind of jump around. This flare is both for me to see where the lever is, but also will be then used later on to cancel another stumble animation. So the flares run for like 30 seconds, I think, something like that. So you can like prime them quite early and then use them later on. Here there should be another step up bug, just like that. And here I will do another save. So there are no checkpoints or auto saves in this game. If you die, you have to select one of your previous saves. If you have not made any saves, then tough luck. So that's kind of cool because you can save wherever you want. It's also kind of not cool because the game doesn't save for you wherever you want. So you kind of have to know where to put down your saves without going overboard with it. Okay, just while I'm talking about it, can just do another one here. So here we have a fence bug. Fences like these usually have like pretty thin collision, and in some spots you can just jump through them. And here at the end, also, I can't even explain that. I don't know. But if you jump through it lower, you just break the glass, so it's not really anything important. There are 2 guys here. You can shoot them, but usually I just like wait here and lure them over and then just run past them. They don't really understand what's happening. And so we have to get to the top here. I think usually you're supposed to kind of detonate this like wall and then go up, but we can also just go up by picking up this flare, and then Lara walks into the wall and then she pops out on top of the wall.
I think this is also the only location where you can do it like with this method, right?
I mean, the only one I know at least, or the only one in this run. That's correct. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. On PS1, there I think are even more methods where you can do it like that.
That's
but
possible.
On PC, that's the only location here you can do it.
Oh God.
No, the lag.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty important part here because it's kind of a setup. Okay, it worked. So that's what has the very good name Glitchless Glitch, because you kind of jump into the seam of a block and you can sometimes get stuck on it and semi-clip into it, and then of course you get popped out on top. And we'll use that also a bit later on. Also here we bypass a door that would require a key. And on we go. So this is the Opera House. It's a quite infamous level in casual play because it is the first really, really long level with a lot of puzzles. In a speedrun, it's actually one of the shortest levels, which might hint at a pretty big skip. That is coming up pretty soon. Here it is pretty obvious to skip here because you can already see that, well, if I could do the skip, that would be pretty obvious, yes. You can already see that there was quite a noticeable gap between the floor and the wall. So you just kind of have to squeeze through there. And this is where the big skip happens. So this is kind of the main hall, and we can do a curved jump around this wall to the left here to land on the other side of this, or on this balcony. And this bypasses the vast majority of this level. So now we just have to kind of get to the exit, and then we're out of Venice. The few Venice levels that there are. Just have to get around this corner. So these boxes hurt quite a lot since they have a always active hitbox, so you get hit a lot if you touch them. Just wait until this box is in a good position to jump across. There is also a gunman and 2 dogs chasing me, but that should be fine. And into the aircraft we go, and I'm already looking forward to the lag here. Yeah, at least it's a cutscene, so it doesn't really affect me. So yeah, now at the start of this level, Lara, as you can see, kind of got captured. All of her weapons have been taken. Luckily, they did not take our medkits or anything like that. So not like we need them right now, but they don't reset to 0, so that's good. But obviously now our first task is to get our weapons back. But then soon we will do the first QWOP glitch, which is kind of an infamous or rather well-known glitch, at least within the Tomb Raider community. So I can't explain it. Basically, yeah, so Lara will get stuck in a animation where she kind of halfway sinks into the ground, and wait, why am I trying to? This is way ahead of what I'm supposed to do. I should have saved. Okay, I should not have saved. I'm lying. Anyway, so yeah, Lara will sink halfway into the ground, and after a certain time has passed, she will completely go underneath, and this allows you to bypass certain doors or walls and stuff like that. But to get into that state, you need a very, very precise, or a rather precise setup and a very specific geometry lineup. So it can't be done wherever you want. I also need to get rid of these guys because I will use a setup to get into that specific location that I need. Also, this guy drops the keycard that I need to open the next door. Where did this? Okay, yeah. So this, for example, another large medkit I pick up for later on. And when we interact with this console here, we always end up in the same position, and that is then the start of the setup. So I will put down a save here. And then all of these side flips and side steps, they always do the same thing. So this allows us to get into a precise position. Then I pause buffer, 1 turn to the left, and now you may have seen Lara's jumping animation kind of got interrupted, and I'm not jumping right now because the next time that I jump, I will sink halfway into the ground, giving me this animation. And now after 10 or 12 seconds, I don't remember, I will completely sink under the ground. And I use that to bypass this door, like that. And I will save here because there is one guy here that can severely interrupt me on this upcoming skip here. Well, that also doesn't help. That's just to show that the save worked anyways. So here I will do another glitchless glitch, hoping that the guy doesn't, well, that doesn't look good. Yeah, that's why I put down the save. Yeah, that's exactly the reason why I did that. Certainly this time you will not do that. Well, he did do something different, that's good, yeah. Yeah, so in case you're wondering why it's called QWOP, the glitch that I did earlier, so the animation that Lara gets stuck in appears to be somewhat reminiscent of the, I think 2008 or 2010 Flash game QWOP, where the player controlled a 100-meter sprinter or sprint athlete, where you would have to control all of his body parts with separate buttons, and the buttons you would, or the keys you would use are the Q, W, O, and P keys, hence quap. Also, I'm supposed to land on top here, but after the save it lagged so severely I couldn't do that, but okay, there we go. Yeah, here I will do another, so obviously the glitchless glitch thing where I teleport on top was already quite a pretty significant skip, but the real significant one is here, because also I need to save, because I shouldn't talk while doing the setup. 1, 2, 3. So this is a very precisely timed jump to get the max distance to grab this ledge, otherwise you couldn't make it across. You would have to also fill this pool of water to then swim through this, which is also why this part of the level already has water. And the transition isn't exactly smooth, but there you go. That's offshore rig, I think. Yeah, next is diving area. Okay, I know these levels. Yeah, nice lag. So to my left is a pretty big fan, and if I there's a very strong current here, and if I go too far to the right, I would get sucked into the fan and lose all my health. So I want to avoid that. I also want to avoid falling into the pool here, so I'll do another save. There we go. Okay, these guys were somewhat kind. They can block you for a pretty long time if you're unlucky. And here there is a very long staircase, or well, ladder, I guess. There isn't really a staircase. As you can see here, that would take a long time to climb, but luckily by swinging on the very right side we can clip into the wall and then instantly teleport to the top, which is quite time saving. We will do that again because we'll now kind of loop around here. So we'll first drop down because we need to get a key card. I will jump across here, hopefully make it onto the slope. Yes, pick up the key card, getting shot at by the other guy, which is not very kind. But I got into the thing here, so that was another small animation skip. You could obviously just climb up normally, which would be a few seconds slower, but by doing that somewhat precise setup there that I did after picking up the key card, I could just jump into the tunnel. Oh, nice lag. And now the same thing again. Just go in here, turn and move forward. And now I go back down again with the key card this time. Now I just need to get rid of this guy. He drops. Why is he walking all the way over there? It's like the only way he shouldn't go. He drops the automatic pistols, which are basically an upgrade of our basic normal dual pistols, but they do require ammunition. So our normal pistols, we have unlimited ammo of. These are stronger, but they require ammo. We will not use them too much, but for now they're the best thing we have. But later on they will get phased out pretty quickly. And here I will set up another quap, hopefully. Which is why I'm saving. Nope. Yeah, so the issue is once you are in the quap hold state, so after your jumping animation gets interrupted, you can't let go of forward, which is why I have to do this weird, oh my god, this weird zigzag move. I'm not getting it's okay. Yeah, without the lag it would be okay. Let's just wait for a bit. Okay. That's not looking good either. Yeah, thought so. Oh my god. I should just do the easier method, but now I'm stubborn. Please let me do the thing. That's better. So this one I have to time like manually, so to say. I have to kind of count in my head how long I like ran against this door to the right. Because as I said earlier, after a specific amount of time has passed, I will automatically sink underneath the floor. If I hit the door that I wanted to go underneath earlier, I would just pop out and the glitch would be gone. So obviously I want to avoid that. And now I need to do another quap of this setup here. Okay, sure, this time first try. This might be late, so I might have to do it again. Yeah, this one you only have to... And it's okay, very barely made it past this. But yeah, that's the 2 co-ops you do here. Was that already the last one? I don't even remember. Maybe. We'll see about that. But yeah, that's the end of this level pretty much. Now we just go to the end of the level. There will be 2 more thugs we have to kill, and story-wise then they tell us, or we learn that we have to go to some monastery somewhere in Tibet eventually. Stuff that I don't really care about. But at least you get some voice acting. So these are the automatic pistols that I picked up earlier. As you can see in the top right, you have the ammo count. If I use the normal pistols, you don't have that. And yeah, so this is 40 fathoms. It's the first underwater level, which they want to hammer home by having you swim for like the majority of the level. So diving is not super intricate, I find, but it is a lot faster than just swimming on the water surface. So that's why usually, even if you, like outside of the underwater levels, you want to dive instead of like just slowly, because I can show you here, yeah, this is swimming speed at the surface. I mean, I had to surface there anyways to get new air, but yeah, you could see that I barely made any progress forward, while diving is significantly faster.
There's a fun fact about this one, that despite this swimming section being extremely long, there was a cutscene prior before the level started where Lara already was half a minute into the water, and then she proceeds to be underwater for another half a minute, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's a trained athlete, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, here, so there's a trap door in the next room, and I want to, like once it goes down, I want to grab this ledge on the very right, because this allows me to get into the correct position for another glitchless glitch the fastest, so I can jump up here immediately. And at the end of this jumping sequence, I will set Lara on fire. So the door to the next part of the level is currently locked, and the unlocking mechanism is behind these flame jets. And luckily there's water just behind this door. So instead of deactivating the flame jets, we basically just take a lot of damage, counter heal it with 1 large medkit. That I kind of had to make sure I hit the 9 key and not the 0 key, because I couldn't see well enough. But yeah, so we just take the damage, use 1 large medkit to counter heal, and ignore pretty much the intended way to get here. Also, sometimes in the level here to the left, once the camera turns, I guess, you will see some weird item, that the gold thing there. So those are just secrets. You can collect them if you want to, but they do nothing. But obviously, like they are kind of the collectible thing in this game. So for the secrets categories, obviously that's the main goal. Why did she not walk? This is awkward. Okay, yeah, let's just do it super slowly then. And still fail probably? No, okay. Yeah, so you can do that obviously a lot more fluently than what I just did, but I was expecting Lara to slow down, but she didn't, so I panicked. Anyways. Again, using my guns to prevent cutscenes from happening. Okay, that also didn't make me panic at all. And now we make our way into the second to last room of this level, where there is like a very long fall downwards that we're not supposed to survive. But by going into this corner and lining ourselves up using the geometry of the opposite wall, and then back hopping twice and forward stepping once, we can then swan dive and hit the back wall and the floor at the exact same time, which prevents fall damage from existing, I guess. So that's very useful in this case, and will also be used once later on in the run. And this final room has a shotgun guy and a wrench guy, and they can be very mean, so I'm saving just in case. You can see my health is already low because of earlier. Yeah, I'll just use one small med kit, or I would use just one small kit, but I get it. Yeah, that's exactly why I saved. Next try. Sir. Okay. So this brings us to the wreck of the Maria Doria. The Maria Doria is the large ship we're in right now. So technically we already were in the wreck of the Maria Doria, but this is the level called the wreck of the Maria Doria. Another large medkit. So the thing with medkits is small medkits heal you for 50% of your health, while large medkits restore all of it. So obviously the large ones are preferable, but they're rarer. So that was a small one. Since it was on the way, I picked it up anyways. Which brings us to a pretty finicky room. So in this next room, I want to manipulate the wrench guy to die in a pretty specific spot next to the wall, so I can use the item he drops for an embed. So I can clip into the geometry and then teleport upwards. That's not good. Yeah, I want to first shoot him 4 times. I'm not sure if I even hit him there. So. Okay, that should be 4. I want to kill the other guys. Exciting gun play, okay. And now I want to kind of lure him into a somewhat specific spot. Shoot him 2 more times and then shoot him there and about. And now by picking this up and turning, I can immediately clip into the upper part where this lever is, which is good. And now I'm just looking for where I'm getting close to the ledge so I can jump across, which is pretty handy that you can look to the side while running. It's the only part where this really comes into play though. And yeah, luckily this one has water at the bottom. And now the rest of this level is pretty much just either diving or collecting stuff. So not exactly the most intense gameplay. There is one guy around this corner that I need to get rid of, again using the automatic pistols, but I think this might even be the last one that we kill using these weapons. Maybe we'll use them shortly afterwards, but yeah, this is one of the last times. This next part, so this lever opens a door at the opposite side of the hall. This is timed. I want to still pick up the small medkit, but if I don't exactly land on it, I will just, okay. If I had missed this, I would have just continued on without picking it up, because once you are through this door, it stays open. So I could have just gotten it on the way back, but now that I already got it while getting here, I don't need to worry about it on the way back. And as you can tell, pushing stuff and pulling boxes is not exactly fast, so we usually want to avoid it. Sometimes you can do that, sometimes you can't. And now we go into the next part, diving part. And there will be 2 big sharks patrolling this area somewhere. They can in fact hide inside the yeah, you already saw him kind of popping out of the ceiling there. Sometimes they just hide up there and pop out when you swim by, which is very funny. If you're underneath or under 50% of health, I think they can one-shot you, so fun. And again, here I'm getting a free flare because I was picking up the key. And if you activate a flare while you're picking up something, the flare is not used from your actual inventory, you just get it for free. And this one actually lasts just long enough for when I need it to cancel another stumble animation if I don't mess up the movement too much on my way there. But that remains to be seen. So now we're back inside the main hall. And there should be a keyhole to the right. This keyhole again brings us always into the same position, so with a side flip to the left and then walking off this small step and then jumping, we clip through this trapdoor, which is another very nice skip. We will use that pretty soon again, but kind of underwater. And this is where the flare comes into play. So this is the free flare I still had from the underwater segment. And here we pick up the M16, which is a much more powerful weapon. I don't even know what my health is at. Okay, not that good. Okay. Yeah, probably didn't have to use the small medkit there, but I think I'm at around 60% health, so just to be sure, I guess. It's okay. The small medkits are not that useful, especially later on, but I mean, it's always better to have more. Here at the start, I will do another save. Like there is a level transition here. I will do a save, not just because it lags, but because I want to get into a somewhat precise spot. As I just mentioned earlier, we will do the trapdoor skip or clip or whatever, but now underwater. Like this. And then already use our M16. So there's one guy here. As you can tell, the rate of fire is significantly higher. And then we make our way on top of this pillar here, hopefully, with a roll, which clipped us into the corner, and then, yeah, same as always, pushes you out on top. And here comes the flare, cancel. And now we kind of, again, did things out of order. So you will see in the next room that there is underwater fire, which makes perfect sense. Don't question it. Once I turn around specifically, you will see it. There you go. And that's kind of already the first half of this level done, but the second half is probably among the most difficult parts, at least for non-experts like me. There are quite a few things happening there. First of all, have to get past this eel. Like on the way here, it's not a problem, but on the way back, you kind of have to angle yourself up and bounce off the ceiling if you want to not wait. Like that. And
nice.
then, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just commenting nice.
Oh, sorry. Thought I interrupted you. Yeah, so here we will use the climb out animation, or location rather, for another glitchless glitch setup. So slowly turn around, and then this should bring us into the perfect position for that. Will I not bonk? Yes, I will not bonk. Okay.
Sorry if you already told that. Why is it called glitchless glitch again?
That's a good question that I would love to answer, but I have absolutely no idea. I guess because you're not really doing anything glitchy technically, since you're just jumping into collision, but I would not know. I'm not the one doing a glitchless Tomb Raider on this marathon, so maybe you can tell me, I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't ask the question if I had known.
Maybe it was a trap question, I don't know, or a rhetorical question. So yeah, now this is the part where it gets a bit more intense. So first I have to do another fence clip here. Then kill one guy here. And then there is a very precise jump I have to do here, which is I'm saving. I kind of, again, need to get a max distance jump, so I need to jump. That's not going to work. Yeah, need to jump off as late as possible, already while Lara's a bit... oh my god, I forgot about the lag. In midair, so this might be... Should have saved a bit earlier, I guess. Yeah, almost.
You can get it. Easy.
Yes. Okay, so now we're on the deck. This is the last of the ship levels. It's actually a very short level comparatively. These are all slippery slopes that we're not really supposed to climb on. But if you kind of reach the upper ledge that you can grab on the same frame that you would hit the floor, you will still grab the ledge instead of sliding back down. I meant to go to the side here. I don't know why it just didn't sidestep, but whatever. So this is already part of the next setup here. Same thing. Okay, then I guess I will not do it here. I will just jump around the corner. Sure. If I can do that, yes, okay. I should have swan cancel that, whatever. Okay, so the important part is coming up here. Actually, I'm not sure if the guy behind me is already too far now. I'll just save. Also, my position is not exactly great. Yeah, okay, never mind. Let's just kill him. Makes me also use my automatic pistol, since I still have a bit of ammo left there, and then I can do this part in peace. So we use this slope here to kind of line ourselves up straight. Jump in here, go into the corner, save just in case, then swan dive to the right, immediately roll. Now we're kind of clamped in between the ground and whatever is above us. Okay, and then we pop out on top because, yes. And that brings us immediately to the key, which avoids us having to go through the cave system behind the ship that you maybe barely saw there, like the accent was a bit visible. And on our way down we used 2 flares, because obviously from these heights we would have definitely stumbled. Here we have grenade launcher ammo, and the grenade launcher itself, which we'll not use until the final boss fight, but there it will be very potent. And on our way to the exit there are just 2 flamethrower guys. So flamethrower guys are very dangerous because, as you may have seen earlier, Lara, the only way to extinguish fire is with water, and there is no water until the end of the level, so if we get set on fire that would be devastating. But that brings us to the end of this level and to Tibet. Oh god. Okay, just trying to make my way down this level. So I'm trying to avoid triggering these boulders. That's good. There will be more boulders coming down here, but they shouldn't kill me. Can avoid a climb up animation there using the slope to the right. And make my way over here. There is a trigger for 2 birds, or whatever they are, here that I can kind of bypass by halfway jumping through the... okay, usually I would do this in one go, but it's a marathon, so whatever. But yeah, halfway jumping through the corner there, you avoid triggering because the triggers are bound to the tile, not like a line or anything like that. So as long as you don't really touch that one tile, the trigger doesn't get activated. And then you may see a skidoo there, and I might use that skidoo, and it might have some pretty good music, but I'm not sure if it's really audible. So maybe it's just me and Kayumon getting the good stuff. Can you hear it?
I can hear it,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm loving it.
Well, gets better later on. But yeah, and the skidoo is... it takes some practice that I don't have to really use it well. It has a boost mode where if you hold interact you go significantly faster, but you also steer significantly worse. But you need it for certain jumps to get more distance, like this one. And yeah, so it's kind of, you have to know where to let go of boost, and usually you just want to boost obviously for maximum speed. You also have to get off the skidoo here briefly to activate the lever and get some more grenade launcher ammo. It is a pretty good tune though.
Absolutely. Used for so many Tomb Raider memes,
Yeah.
I think, as well.
Now you saw me there again, oops, whatever. Yeah, avoiding having to climb up the ladder, which is slow. Instead I did another like teleport to the top. There is a pretty cheeky jump you can do there to the right with your skidoo to cut out having to drive around this part here, but I'm not consistent enough with it where I would save anyway, so that already costs time, so even that would greatly diminish going for it, so I just don't. And as you can see, this will also be important later on. If you get hit or hit someone with the skidoo, they instantly die, but the same thing also applies for Lara, so keep that in mind for later on. But now we will just park the skidoo somewhat precisely around here and dismount and make our way across the upper part of this room. There's also an explosion happening round about now, as you can tell by the audio visual feedback. And now the ice lake where our skidoo was parked is not that icy or that lakey anymore. But the skidoo, you will see, is still kind of hovering in midair, which makes sense. But what that mainly did is it revealed the key that we need to get back to the start of the level and then open the door on the opposite side where we went with our skidoo. So that's the only reason why we go all the way here. And now we go back. Without musical support though. Okay. Yeah, so as soon as you get somewhat close to like a ledge with the skidoo, it kind of immediately falls off whatever you're on. So that's why I'm trying to be a bit more cautious here. As you might expect, falling down is lethal. Here I'm setting up for another small jump. Actually, I'll just save for the heck of it. I haven't saved in a while. That might have been a good save. Okay, never mind. It was a terrible save. Why did I even save that? It made no sense.
Better safe to be sorry.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, basically, as soon as you fall distant, like downwards distance of more than 2 blocks or something, the skidoo just immediately explodes on impact, no matter what your health is or whatever. Which is why sometimes you actually want to avoid boosting while you're like going over a slope or something, because you might just inadvertently destroy the skidoo. Yeah, I'm preparing my M16 here. So this is the key that we wanted. Inside this hut we will stock up a bit on ammo and small medkits, but mainly we will activate a lever that opens the gate on the right side if you stand in front of the hut, where we'll go next. And you will see we will get ambushed, I guess, but we will just ignore the ambushers. Bye. But my health is not great, so we'll just heal. So we will still take quite a bit more damage until the end of the level, so this is definitely not a wasted medkit. And now we have to kill a guy on a skidoo without preferably getting killed. So there is somewhat of a strat here where okay, that's not a good strat though. Okay, that was a lot quicker than what I expected, but okay, I'll take it. So this is somewhat the same skidoo, but it cannot boost. Instead it has like machine guns, as you can see. So we'll use those to kill more guys on skidoos, but the boost would be very helpful to get across this gap, so now you always have to kind of like just wing it there. And here's another instance where I have to like let go of accelerate, because if you just drive down this slope without or with the acceleration, you would just die because it's too high of a fall. Even though you're not able to boost, even with just normal acceleration, you die. Here I want to park the skidoo in a somewhat precise spot on the right side, because now if I pull this block, you can see the skidoo disappearing. But if I interact with the block from this side, I'm back on top of the block with the skidoo, and then that part of the tile doesn't have collision, and we're through. Makes sense to me. And that ends the Tibetan foothills level and brings us to the Barkang Monastery, where there are basically 2 factions. There is the bad guys and there are the monks. And the monks are friendly until we hit them for the first time, and I do not plan on doing that. But if you decide to do that for whatever reason, you have all of these guys against you instead of just 2 of them. And they can still interrupt me here, so I'm setting up for another corner buck thingy, where if we backstep now, we should pop out on top, and that brings us to this balcony, where there is also some grenade launcher ammo, very handily ready for us there. By slowly jumping and turning in place there against thin windows like that, or walls, we can eventually clip through them, which allows us to go back inside the main building. And this ladder again we want to skip, having to slowly climb it. Instead we will do the thing again that we also did, for example, in offshore rig where we, no, not offshore rig, diving area where we skipped the huge ladder by clipping into the wall instead and teleporting to the top. There is another trigger here in this tunnel where a huge boulder will roll down. We can bypass that by again jumping through the corner. We will, however, activate it anyways on the way back, but then we don't really care about it anymore. So now we just have to go down here because the main objective in Barkang Monastery is to find 5 prayer wheels and use those to unlock the final part of the level where we then get to the exit. We will at least collect 1 praying wheel, but maybe not 5, which makes sense eventually. So there's the prayer wheel. You can also maybe hear the guy in the back getting attacked. So a monk is helping us, distracting him at least. Pretty intense action apparently that I'm missing. Here you can see we can jump through the corner like that to avoid having to fully pull out the block, which if you saw how slow pulling and pushing blocks is, that's definitely a good thing. And then we go back because we don't want to climb ladders. Pick up some more flares here because we're out of flares currently, which is why I haven't seen one in a while. Not like we really needed one. I mean, there were a few stumbles, but whatever. And here I set up for another one of those fall damage cancels where I swan dive and hit a wall and the floor at the same time. Which is why I do these weird jumps here that don't look very fast, but it is faster in the long run, hopefully. Like that.
Nice. This one always looks so scary.
It looks always scary, I know, yeah. But it's probably the easier one out of the two, I would say. Because for the other one, you have to like visually line up where you're aiming. For this one, you can just do whatever. Okay, so here I'm definitely saving, even though there is no action really going on here. But what we're basically doing is we're duping this braille wheel. So I said we needed 5. I have only 1. But if you, instead of like using the receptacle and then selecting the prayer wheel, we can just open up the inventory manually, and you can see like the only other item I have, it's kind of not rotating like it's supposed to. It's like stuck like this. And like for some reason, if you use it in this state, it just like uses another prayer wheel. It just assumes you have whatever you need for this receptacle, and that allows us to finish this level with just 1 praying wheel instead. And that's good, because otherwise this is quite a bit longer. But yeah, there is a way how you can like break this state, so that's why I safety saved there, because that's always rather unfortunate.
What would happen if you break it?
You can't select the Skion anymore to use it as a praying wheel, so you would have to actually just get the other praying wheel, so that's out of the question.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, now we're in the catacombs. Stuff happened, I'm sure, in the story that I am not aware of, so whatever. But now we have Yetis, so that's good, I guess. Another corner clip here. And then there's this kitty cat that sometimes can be rather rude. Yeah, that's what I meant, but it's okay. Like, it can drain you for quite a bit of health, but that was pretty tame by comparison. And now, oops, okay, meant to turn there already mid-jump, but whatever. Yeah. So we need the mask on this pedestal, because that's, for some reason, a key. Makes sense, I guess. And then we drop down, and get shot at. Oh my god. Oh, I don't have a small medkit. Well, I guess there goes a large one. Oh, cool. Because I definitely need a bit more health later on, because I will take some fall damage. But yeah, that's okay. Nothing to worry about, I'm sure. And now it's actually the exit of the level is just on like the other side of that wall, so we're pretty close in theory. We just need to get across here, which luckily we did. And this is where, yeah, I'm taking a bit of fall damage here. Yeah, this would definitely have been lethal. But because I have more health now, I can just take the fall here, ignore the fall damage, and exit. Which brings us to Ice Palace with big bells and big trampolines that we try to use for our advantage, or to our advantage rather. I'm not sure if I'm in a good position. Yeah, that looks okay. That made sense. If Lara would back hop, that would also make sense. Thank you. Yeah, so you can clip into the wall and then you can clip out of the wall. And then you forget that you need to shoot this cat, and Lara ignores your inputs, and then you just stand in place instead of running, but okay. Luckily, this mask we don't have to actually pick up. As soon as we're on this pedestal, like the next door or area opens up, so that's good. Avoids one slow pickup. And now we're making our way to the second half of this level. And closer to what I'm pretty worried about, because soon I will need some audio cues, and I'm not sure if I will hear them. But we'll see. Anyways. Oh god. Clearly Tomb Raider 2 is too much for this PC to handle. Yeah, so tilting that cauldron now melted the ice, which allows us to pick up whatever that is. I mean, it's a thing you hit the gong with, but we will never use it. Instead, we try to not get pushed around by these yetis too much, because they can push you underneath some falling icicles and then you die, and that's always a fun time. Instead, we will make our way to the top here, use again our weapon to ignore camera switches, so the camera stays neatly behind Lara. We'll do a safety save here, because there is another big valley underneath us that we... Oh my god. Yeah, okay, whatever. Just take it slow.
Would we have time to get in a donation before you head into the pod where you need to listen for audio cues?
Absolutely, because I'm just slowly climbing this ladder.
All right, awesome. Because this is a long one. We got a donation from Seven Fisher is meta in VGC7.
Hello, Eraser, yes.
It's a $15 donation saying, hey everyone, can you name a better trio than Toker plus Speedrun's Couch plus Sleep? I know I can't. It's the main event every year. Okay, now my dear Caddy, you often talk about how you saw the POP community at the first SpeedCon and then decided to interact with it later, but I can't really express how happy I am that you did. And it's not just because of POP 3D, that's more of a downside, to be honest.
Fair.
You're such a great friend and an amazing person, and I'm so happy when I can talk to you. You're one of the best person I know by far, and I just wanted to thank you for being who you are. Have a good end of run and end of event, everyone.
Thank you very much, Eraser. That means a lot. I'm sure also to Toka. I mean, what? Yeah, thank you very much. So that was the boss there. That was a safe spot. Don't worry about it. And this is where now the part comes. I will do a bunch of weird things that I will not explain, because I have no idea what's going on either. But it involves going into some precise positions and then listening for stumble sounds, and I have no clue how to explain anything. But I should, at the end, pop out at the end of the level. Surely this is enough. And that was just a setup, don't worry about it. Okay, now I have to... Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea if this will work, in case you couldn't tell. It worked, okay, sure. Okay, yeah, I totally expected that, yes. Yeah, I'm sure I didn't excite you too much with what I told you earlier. I have also no idea what. Anyway, so now we're in Floating Island. It looks like a debug level, and it probably is. I assume someone just let his kid design this on a day off. I don't know what's happening here. Yeah, so in case... Yeah, that's totally a setup, sure. Oh, we're back at the start of the level. That's weird. Yeah, so in case whatever I just did in the monastery was interesting, then there is a small version of that here towards the end of the level. But for that to happen, I would have to not fail this jump. That would be good. So the curve of this jump, I don't even know what I'm doing. So since I'm curving this jump, you probably might be able to tell that I'm trying to jump around a trigger. That looks better. So the right guy, you can see he's not activating. He's still in the statue form. Yes, there are flying enemies with swords. It makes maybe sense. But basically I lure him to fall down there, and now I want to do another corner clip until he's, or rather before he's back. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. And now I want to get into another precise position using the consistent sliding down animation of that slope. Yes. Yes. 1, 2. Mm. 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 That makes sense. Don't worry, that was the last one. Yeah, none of this makes sense, but it works, so that's good. And that is actually end of Floating Island. Yes, that makes sense. We just need to get to the top here, and then there's an exit here, and now we're in the level that I saved all my medkits for. And there is another medkit here, which is pretty good, because now we will basically ignore all the enemies and just try to tank the damage while killing one specific enemy because he drops a key, and then we need that to insert that key into a keyhole, all while having 2 of these spear guys and like 4 of the knife throwing guys, and who else is pet on us? I don't even know. So, is he dead? He's not dead, is he? Oh no. Why did I not save, by the way? Yeah, you can tell why that may have been a bad decision. Okay, let's save now, I guess. Sure.
You risked it for the biscuit.
Yeah, except that I didn't really... Okay, I got it. Now I just need to not die, right?
It's fine.
Yeah, I totally know how many medkits I still have. Yeah, all good. Okay. And yeah, I mentioned earlier we have a grenade launcher. And I did not mention earlier that we will fight a giant dragon. But I also didn't mention that he's not exactly smart. So by just standing behind this pillar, we can shoot the dragon. But the dragon, I mean, he shoots at us, but he just hits the pillar. So that's good. You always see the pillar light up. So what you can't see is that he's throwing fireballs at us. But yeah, it needs 10 grenade launcher shots, and we have 10 grenades. So that's good. And that's, yeah, climactic, almost wolf. I don't clip through it, thank you. So that's the final boss done. Now we need to escape from here, and then there is the final level. That makes sense. And yeah, I think you're also familiar with the final level, right?
Yes, of course.
Of course. What is it called?
Home sweet home.
Yeah, sure. So nothing will go wrong here. Nothing like a gang of mafioso showing up at Lara's front door with
Oh,
rabbit dogs or something like that. That's okay. And me stumbling for reasons. Sure. Luckily, Lara has a cupboard full of shotgun ammo and shotguns already, so that's good. A cupboard that is like 50 times her size. And stocked up, so we will stock up.
she is rich. She needs it.
Yeah. Good investment. As it turns out. So there will be 15 enemies I have to kill, and then the final boss spawns. They start in predetermined locations, but their behavior is semi-random, so you can get bad luck. But we kind of always take the same path, because, for example, the two guys in the back, well, the one guy and the dog here in the back, they are always kind of around here, and they will not track you, basically. So we kind of want to... Oh my god. We want to get rid of these first, so I only have 2 large medkits, so I kind of want to avoid taking too much damage. That's 4. It's 5. So now we try to go around into the main area in front of the mansion, or manor, sorry, Croft Manor. I said we're at 5. Don't worry, I will soon lose track anyways, because I always do at the final part here. And there should be one more dog and one more gun guy to the right here. That's the dog. 7. 9. 11 maybe. What are you doing? Should be all of them, if I count it correctly. Yes, okay, so that's the final boss. Very climactic. Hope you enjoy. This was Tomb Raider 2. I almost died, good. And time will be once the final cutscene ends. The very non-iconic final cutscene. Don't worry, nothing will be shown.
Don't you think you've seen enough?
Woo! Jesus Christ, what was that? Well, that was a run and a half, yeah. Well, not quite the way I expected it to go, but it was fun. Thank you very much for joining me.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you also SpeedCon for having us. But it's not over yet with Tomb Raider. You're next.
That's right.
You're next with kind of the staple of this marathon, because Tomb Raider Underworld was at 3 out of 4 on-site events, so good to see the tradition continue. But yeah, that was me. I will be back soon, but with switched roles.
Exactly. Gonna do a quick role change.
Exactly.